some examples of three laws of motion. The first example is motion on an inclined surface. You can say first example is motion on an inclined surface. Either it is downward or upward motion, it doesn't matter at all. So we will study two different cases, downward and upward motion. First thing, whenever we study about the total number of forces acting on a body and to represent them, that representation is simply called free body diagram. Means a diagram in which you are representing all possible forces or all possible forces which are acting or effective forces which are acting on the body. For an example, we are talking about inclined surface. Angle of inclination is theta from horizontal. Let's call it O, A and B, and an object has been placed on this of mass m. Right now we are assuming that this surface is a frictionless surface or a smooth surface. Whenever it is written there that a smooth surface or a frictionless surface which means there is no role of friction in the given scenario. A frictionless surface means no friction is there. So if it is written in the question that a smooth surface we are talking about, so clearly keep this thing in your mind. So clearly friction won't be effective in that particular situation. Its weight, the weight of a body always acts perfectly downwards. So its weight will act perfectly downwards. We can call it mg. Now let's represent all possible forces in the given situation. So keep this thing in your mind that the representation of all possible forces with the help of arrow in the given diagram is simply called free body diagram. So keep this thing in your mind. Now its weight mg is having two constituents or two components effective on the inclined surface. One is responsible to move down this body, and the second is responsible for compressing the inclined surface of the body. So we should break down the components. One is compressing the surface of the body and second is the force who is responsible to slide it down, means the component of the weight which is responsible to slide it down. If this angle is theta, it will also be theta because this angle is 90 actually. This angle is 90. That's why keep this thing in mind. This angle is also theta. Let me represent it for you. This angle is actually 90. That's why. So this component will be mg cos theta and this component would be mg sin theta. So mg sin theta is the weight component which is responsible for moving the body down. Keep this thing in your mind. Now if I ask what is the resultant force by which the body is sliding down, so you need to understand a few things in the given scenario that there is, have we represented all the possible forces. Friction is not working there. Yes, we know it very well, but reaction is working there. Reaction, for each and every action there will be a reaction in opposite direction. So for this compression there will be a reaction on the body just opposite to the action. This reaction we will call it R, reaction. So at equilibrium, because body is not moving in upward or body is not breaking down the inclined surface, so at equilibrium you can say at equilibrium in vertical component or at equilibrium R must be equal to mg cos theta. We will keep this thing in our mind that R must be equal to mg cos theta. But in this scenario the system is not in equilibrium because body is sliding down with an acceleration. So if I ask that what will the resultant acceleration by which the body starts to slide down, so you can say that if the body is going down with an acceleration a, so what will the value of a? There is a simple way to calculate this. Just study the total effect of all possible forces which are responsible for the body's downward movement according to the given scenario and according to you. So if we assume that according to us the resultant force is F, according to us the resultant force is F, and according to the given scenario there is only one force which is responsible for the downward motion, that is mg sin theta. So we can say that F equals to mg sin theta. You know why? Because according to us the resultant force is F, but according to the free body diagram the resultant the effective force is mg sin theta, which is responsible for the body's downward motion. So simply you can say F is equal to mg sin theta. This is the easiest way to decode a free body diagram in such problems. So F equals to mg sin theta, or we know that according to second law of motion, force is mass into acceleration, where m is the mass of the body. Now you can place this value, so m into a equals to mg sin theta, or m to m will get cancelled. You can simply say that acceleration developed in the body is g sin theta. And if you want to replace the value of sin theta in terms of r, you can calculate it from this expression. Since r is mg cos theta, you can simply calculate the value of sin theta also. It's your choice to solve it in terms of r even. So keep this thing in your mind that the acceleration would be g sin theta and a reaction would be mg cos theta in the given situation when the body is moving down on a smooth inclined surface. Keep this thing in your mind. Now the second situation is we are talking about upward motion on an inclined surface. The second possibility. So on the given inclined surface, it is still smooth. We are not introducing friction right now on this inclined surface. So obviously we have to apply some force if we want to move this body in upward direction, because its weight will always try to move it in downward direction. Keep this thing in mind. So let's say represent all possible forces, means we are going for free body diagram. The weight of the body is mg, the compression component of the body, this angle will also be theta, we have discussed it already. This is mg cos theta, and the component which is responsible for the downward motion of the body is mg sin theta. Now if you want to make the body to move in upward direction, definitely you have to apply some force. So suppose we are applying some force in this direction, let's say Fa. Fa is the applied force, and the reaction of the body is acting in the opposite to the compression factor, that is mg cos theta. Reaction will always act on the perpendicular to the surface, along the perpendicular to the surface. Keep this thing in your mind. Now if the body is moving in upward direction, keep this thing in mind, if the body is moving in upward direction, definitely your applied force is greater than mg sin theta. In that particular case, the body will move in upward direction. So in that situation, if I say the body is moving in upward direction with acceleration a, and according to us resultant force is F. F is the resultant force by which the body is moving in upward direction. So we can make the required equation for this. At equilibrium, since the body is not moving in up and down according to this mg cos theta or r, so at equilibrium for that situation, it is a different thing. Keep this thing in your mind. At equilibrium, r is mathematically equal to mg cos theta. Keep this thing in your mind. Now the whole system is moving with an acceleration a, and the total force is F. According to us, total force is F, but according to the free body diagram, total force would be Fa minus mg sin theta, because the upward force is Fa and downward responsible force is mg sin theta, and still the body is moving in upward direction. It means Fa is greater than mg sin theta, and total effective force according to this situation Fa minus mg sin theta. This is the total effective force, and according to us that effective force is F. So F must be equal to Fa minus mg sin theta. Keep this thing in mind. Fa is applied force. We can even indicate that Fa is applied force, externally applied force. So now the resultant force would be resultant acceleration into mass m of the body. So you can say that ma equals to Fa applied force minus mg sin theta, or you can say that A equals to, finally A equals to, you can write it here that A equals to applied force Fa minus mg sin theta upon m, mass of the body. It's your choice to solve this according to the given scenario. So this is the basic interpretation of the movement on an inclined smooth surface. Still we are talking about a smooth surface, not friction. So this is the way to study about these concepts of the surface. And if the system is at equilibrium, even it is not moving in upward or downward direction, simply the applied force mathematically equal to mg sin theta. That will be the situation. Fa equals to mg sin theta. You can even interpret that resultant force would be 0 if the system is at equilibrium. The resultant force would be 0, and if it is 0, it means Fa equals to mg sin theta. So this is the way to interpret this situation. In the connected motion, we will study about the motion regarding two or more bodies connected with a common string. And to explain this, let's take an example of a frictionless pulley which is having a string connected with two bodies. A common string connected with two bodies of different masses, let's say mass m1 and mass m2, and you can see that m2 is greater than m1 for this example. Now we know it very well. To study free body diagram, we need to represent all possible forces. So here all possible forces are, still it is a frictionless pulley. So keep this thing in mind. We are not introducing friction here. So the weight of the body is acting perfectly downward, m2g, in the same way m1g. But for the weight there will be a reaction in the string, that is tension in the string T. Tension will always act along the wire opposite to the applied force, along the wire. So along the wire opposite to the wire applied force, tension T. And in the 10th class I told you that for a common string, tension will be same at each and every point lying on the string. So for the same sense, m1g tension will be there and the same tension will be there. Let's call it T. Now, since m2 is greater than m1, so definitely this body will start to move in downward direction. This body will start to move in upward direction. So if I say that the body is moving down with an acceleration a, so definitely the first body will start to move or to accelerate in upward direction with the same acceleration by magnitude, opposite by direction. So even you can write minus a due to its direction, but in magnitude you will take it as a positive. So the body is being accelerated m2 in downward direction and the m1 in upward direction, and the force by which, according to us, resultant force we are assuming as F2 and F1, by which these bodies are being accelerated. Keep this thing in mind. Accelerations are same, but forces won't be same. Why? Because their masses are not same. Keep this thing in your mind. So according to us, the resultant force is F2 here and F1 there. Now let's implement the same thing, that according to us the net force is F2, but according to this given free body diagram, the resultant force is m2g minus t, because the downward responsible force is m2g and the opposite force of this m2g is t, and since the whole body is moving in downward direction, so definitely m2g is greater than t. So according to the given situation, resultant is m2g minus t, but according to us it is F2. So we can simply make the equations. In the same way here, since the whole system is moving in upward direction, so according to us the resultant force is F1, but according to the given system is T minus m1g. So F1 equals to T minus m1g. You can see clearly. According to the given system, the resultant is T minus m1g, but according to us it is F1. Now, for this situation, F2 would be m2g minus t. m2g minus t. Now you can do one thing by adding these two equations, adding equation first and second if we want to terminate t, because we don't have the value of t. So adding equation first and second, or you can calculate the value of t from first equation, put that value in this second equation. So there, it's your choice completely, equation first and second. So what we will get, t to t will get cancelled, you will get f1 plus f2, f1 plus f2 equals to m1g, by adding these two, m2g minus m1g, or g you can take common, m2 minus m1 clearly, m2 minus m1, and the resultant force is mass into resultant acceleration, we know it very well. So f1 would be m1a plus f2 would be m2a, because acceleration are same, equals to g m2 minus m1. This is the way. Or you can calculate the resultant acceleration developed in the body. So resultant acceleration would be a equals to g m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2. So this is the acceleration developed in the body. This is the acceleration developed in the body for this connected situation. And if you have, once you have the value of acceleration, you can put this value of acceleration in any equation to calculate the value of tension. It will be your choice. Our next topic is apparent weight of a body in a lift. We know it very well that in a moving lift, person usually feels an apparent weight, means the variation in his weight, like he will feel lighter than usual when the lift starts to move in downward direction, or he will feel we can say greater weight as usual or as compared to his usual weight if the lift starts to move in upward direction. So we need to understand that what is happening when a lift is being accelerated in upward direction or in downward direction. So let's take an example of the lift. So we are just assuming that in a stationary lift, a person is measuring his weight by standing over a weighing machine. He is standing over a weighing machine, this person. So the weighing machine is basically working on a simple principle, that the action reaction law. Action on the weighing machine or action on the floor by the person of mass m, so it will be his weight mg, and the reaction of the weighing machine over the person, there will always a reaction for an action. So the action is the force applied by the person on the weighing machine, and the reaction is given by the weighing machine on the person. So the resultant weight will be decided by this reaction. As you can see, if a person tries to weigh his body in the space or out from the earth's gravitational field, so we can say the weighing machine won't give any kind of reaction. So the apparent weight of the person would be zero in that particular place. So the apparent weight of a body can be calculated with the help of reaction. Here the reaction in stationary state, when the lift is at a stationary state, we can say stationary lift. For that lift, we can simply say that the apparent weight would be same as the real weight of the person. So R is going to be explain the person's apparent weight. Keep this thing in your mind. So if you want to measure the apparent weight of a body in a moving lift, you need to calculate R every time. So again, let's take three particular examples. In a stationary lift, the person will feel his real weight. But in a situation when the lift is moving or it is being accelerated, keep this thing in mind, it is not moving with a constant velocity, it is moving with a constant acceleration. It is uniformly accelerated. So a lift is uniformly accelerated in a, we can say, with an acceleration A. Let's say this is the person, his actual weight which is working in downward direction, that is mg, and the reaction is reaction from the floor of the lift. Reaction is R. Now, if I say the whole system is being accelerated in upward direction with an acceleration A, so I can simply say that the resultant force according to us is F, by which the lift is being accelerated in upward direction. Keep this thing in your mind. Now, so according to us, the resultant force by which the lift is being accelerated in upward direction is F, but according to the free body diagram, the reaction must be greater than mg. That's why the person is moving in upward direction. Here we are neglecting the weight of the lift. So person's weight is m. So ultimately the person is moving in upward direction. It means reaction is greater than mg. So resultant force according to us is R minus mg. But according to the assumed data, it is F. So F must be R minus mg. And we know it very well that the force is mass into acceleration. So m into a equals to R minus mg. But R is the responsible term for apparent weight experienced by the person. So we need to calculate R in this situation when the lift is being accelerated in upward direction. So we are talking about a particular case A, upward acceleration of the lift. Upward acceleration we can say in the lift. For this thing, the apparent weight R would be ma plus mg. You can see ma plus mg, or you can take m common, a plus g. This is the total reaction acting on the person, and that reaction will be responsible for the apparent weight experience of the person. So apparent weight of the person in this situation, you can say apparent weight of the person, it would be m a plus g. So which is actually greater than mg, So you can say the person will experience greater weight, and it happens as soon as the lift starts to move in upward direction. You always feel that you are being attracted in downward direction by something. So you will experience we can say increased weight, that is apparent weight, when a lift is being accelerated in upward direction. So for that situation, when the lift is being accelerated in downward direction, let me modify this thing for you. In that particular case, when the lift is being accelerated in downward direction, it is being accelerated in downward direction. So the overall acceleration of the lift would be in downward direction, let's say F, acceleration by which it is being accelerated is A. So if the lift is being accelerated in downward direction, definitely mg is greater than R. So we can modify this equation, mg is greater than R. So F, according to us, the resultant force is F, but according to the given free body diagram, it would be mg minus R, or we can say R equals to mg minus F, and F is m into A. So R equals to mg minus m into A, mass into acceleration, or you can say that R equals to m common g minus A. This situation, R equals to m into g minus A, and R is responsible for apparent weight of the person. So apparent weight would be m g minus A, and since something is being subtracted from g, so it would be less than actual weight of the person, means the person will experience lighter as compared to his actual weight. So this is the condition for downward acceleration. Now the third condition is, if the lift is being we can say being moved in upward or downward direction with a constant velocity. Please pay attention. The lift is moving with a constant velocity, means there is no acceleration in the lift. Whatever it is moving in upward direction or in downward direction, means the lift is in uniform motion. Constant velocity means uniform motion. So we are talking about that particular situation. If the lift is in uniform motion, so in that particular situation, acceleration in the lift, whatever it is moving in upward direction or in downward direction, acceleration would be 0. And if acceleration is 0, resultant force would be 0. And if the resultant force is 0, It means you can simply say that R equals to mg. If the resultant force is 0, R equals to mg, means the person will experience his original weight, means the apparent weight will be same as the original weight or real weight of the person. You can say the person will experience his real weight. Keep this thing in your mind. So that's why we usually move a lift with a constant velocity in the buildings. Definitely you will experience an accelerated motion in upward or downward direction whenever a lift starts to move. But as soon as it starts, after some time it attains a constant velocity, due to which you will start to experience your original weight, not the apparent weight. Only at the moment of starting of a lift or stopping of a lift, you will feel your apparent weight different than your real weight. Otherwise, you will always experience a real weight because a lift always moves with a constant velocity in practical manner.